DreamWorks presents the animated Baby Geniuses. Hello Fanatics, I'm Dylan Phillips, and this is the Film Fanatic Review bringing you The Boss Baby with Miles Christopher Bakshi, Alec Baldwin, and Tobey Maguire. First, we'll tell you our initial thoughts and what the movie is about. Then we'll move on to our spoiler-free likes and dislikes. We'll finish up with some spoiler-heavy thoughts on this film, and our final word. Overall, this movie was better than I expected. I was definitely intrigued by the trailers, especially the fact that Alec Baldwin is playing a talking baby, but it wasn't enough for me to want to pay full price to see this in theaters. But after going, I have to say, it's worth the look. The Boss Baby is about Tim Templeton, a 7-year-old whose life changes forever when his baby brother arrives, a suit-wearing, briefcase-carrying talking baby, sent on a mission to foil the sinister plans of Puppy Co. For what I liked about this film, I have to say that I found that the voice cast was particularly funny. Whoever thought of putting Alec Baldwin's voice into a talking baby was a genius, because Alec Baldwin's tone and delivery in this role is spot on. Again, DreamWorks gives us a comedy with a lot of jokes for all ages, especially with some underlying adult humor in the same vein as Shrek. It's also pretty cool to see the imagination of Tim and how that reflects on the reality around him, adding a deeper layer to the comedy of this film. And of course, this film has a great story at its core, specifically the sibling rivalry aspect, but also the fear an older sibling has of losing all the love and affection of their parents from a new baby. As for what I disliked, I will say that I was underwhelmed by the villain character, and if you go back and think about this movie, they're not going to be very memorable in a couple of years, and it was a very formulaic storyline, but that's what you kind of expect from animated films nowadays. And that's where I'll end my spoiler-free thoughts on this film. If you want to hear our final word or rating of this film, pause now and click the link in the description, because now it's time for spoilers. So first off, I have to talk about that pixelated baby nudity in this film. I didn't expect that going into it. I expected there to be the occasional butt joke because, you know, babies and all, and like diapers and stuff, but the actual pixelation just kind of was a shocker. It was a good shocker for this movie because you didn't expect it. And of course, they had to put the two most adorable things in the world together and pit them against each other in this film, and that's puppies and babies. DreamWorks certainly knew how to market this as a potential date movie. And now, I'm going to talk about a thought that I had about this film. So, we know that Tim is a very imaginative kid growing up, and we see all of these scenes where it's showing him thinking these huge plans, right? Like he's talking about how he saved his parents from peril a number of times, and we see the difference of his imagination to reality, specifically with the backyard car chase scene. So, let's think about this for a second. So, at the beginning of the movie, he's talking about how he saves his parents from peril all the time, and this entire movie's plot is him saving his parents from peril. So what if this entire sequence in this movie, this entire story, is his imagination, and it's him imagining what it would be like to have a younger sibling? And so what happens is his parents tell him that he's going to have a younger sibling, and then he goes to bed and he says, "No thanks, I don't want one." And then the rest of the movie is him dreaming up what it would be like to have this younger sibling. And so he sees him in the light that he wants to see him, and that's a talking baby that's there sent on a mission, a secret spy mission, so that the two of them can work together to foil these plans and save his parents. And then in the end, he's fine with having a younger brother, because through that dream, he realized that he actually did care for this kid. And so that just makes it a little bit more interesting to think that that might be the whole thing there, considering the fact that the theme of this movie is sibling rivalry and older siblings feeling like they're losing the affection of their parents. Well, that's what Tim felt the entire time, and at the end he was eventually fine with having a younger sibling because he loved them just as much as his parents did, and as his parents loved him. So, food for thought. And I enjoyed many scenes throughout this movie, but in particular here are a few. The backyard car chase scene I found very funny because you had the reality, which was very slow and just what you would see in real life, and then you had Tim's hyperbolized imagination where he thinks that there's explosions and just everything everywhere. Then you have the scene where he discovers that the baby can actually speak, and the baby's telling him like it is, and that scene was just delightful to actually hear the Alec Baldwin's voice come out at first and just hear how he was going to deliver the lines and just be super intense and sassy to this kid. I also found that the scene where the like any scene actually, where the baby is dematuring because he doesn't have the serum anymore, and he just starts becoming a baby again. You see his eyes widen and he's just walking around aimlessly. Those scenes were hilarious, just jumping back and forth. And he would just smack himself back into reality. The other two parts of the movie that I really enjoyed, one was where you had the wizard clock, because there was a lot of references to Lord of the Rings there. I loved it. And the last part, which I didn't remember until I was recording this, but it's one of the highlights of the film, is every single time the baby has a nap. And so the baby will just like all of a sudden doze off and then go power nap or stress nap or victory nap. And it was hilarious because that's what babies do. They just all of a sudden fall asleep and then they can wake up at any moment. So it was hilarious to see that they actually put that in this movie and they used it throughout. And they didn't use it too much, but they used it just enough. So, with the thoughts heard, here's our final word. The Boss Baby is a fun animated comedy with some jokes for all ages. While the movie may not be groundbreaking, the jokes mixed with Alec Baldwin's delivery make for some funny moments. This film had a few funnier moments than I had anticipated, and Alec Baldwin's delivery definitely made this protagonist character one of the most memorable in animated films in recent years. On top of that, this film had a very great and relatable story at its core, so I'm gonna give The Boss Baby a 6.5. Thanks everybody for watching our review. Are you planning on seeing The Boss Baby? Or if you've already seen it, do you have something to add? What did you think of Alec Baldwin as The Boss Baby? Let us know in the comments below. I'm Dylan Phillips, and this has been the Film Fanatic Review. If you liked this video and you want to see more, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Check out our latest Fanatic 5 video where we discuss the top Scarlett Johansson roles. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. We post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Until next time, Fanatics, keep it real.